What up, everybody, and welcome to Sportsify. I am your host, Matt Novak. Alongside me, as always, Grant Hawker.
Always, even on vacation, couldn't miss this episode.
Live from prison, Grant Hawker.
That's right.
Thanks,
I'm
thanks
taking a
for
page
making
out of
it
your book
happen.
in a garage right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
but we're here. Couldn't miss it.
On the third mic with us, Jameson DeFore.
Hello.
Dude. Hey, question before we get into everything, real quick. Jameson, are you ready to throw down with this guy on YouTube yet? Are you ready to just like unleash on this dude that won't stop calling you a nerd? I don't know if you've seen it. It's more
Haven't
than one post now.
haven't literally looked at any comments because anything they say doesn't matter, especially if they don't know ball. So,
Yeah,
and I
Uh,
don't even know the context. So, but I'm just assuming maybe they don't know ball. Maybe they do.
they're
I don't know.
12-year-old Broncos fan.
yeah, probably.
Yeah,
We've ran into a few
Uh,
of those. TikTok needs to do a much better job getting rid of the children on there. But let's be real, that's where they make their money. Um, No, we've been having some fun discussions this last week because the NFL always gives us a conversation. It, I mean, there is not a week that goes by where we're just like, well, that was completely boring and there's nothing to talk about. Week 18, the last week of the regular season, gave us everything. And genuinely, what
hmm
an encapsulation of the season. We know as much right now, I think, as we probably knew about a month ago. Just being really real about these teams, where they were at, all this stuff. I think we had a pretty good idea. There was some definition that came into play for a few
mhm.
teams for certain. Obviously setting a 1 through 7 when it comes to each conference's playoff seedings really does matter. And we were really just answering questions. It felt like the last couple of weeks, like who's going to get that last spot, who's hosting the home game, who's going to get the week off, all that kind of stuff. But we kind of knew what the good was. The one thing that the NFL has still not answered for us, it's going to take another month, 5 weeks, I think is where we're at, is who is like, who's that team? Like, who is really it? Even our one seeds now, the Broncos and the Seahawks taking those one spots here as we head into the playoffs. We don't. There's flaws. There's obvious flaws to both of those squads. You're if you're one of those teams as fans, as we have one right here, you don't feel 100. You might feel 90. You're feeling good. You're excited
probably where
about
I'm
having the
at.
bye week. You're like, hey, we're going to be healthy. We're going to be fast. We're going to be ready. We get to play at home. We get our crowd. It's going to be electric. I mean, mile high. And what the crud is your stadium called?
Lumen Field.
There you go. I don't care.
CenturyLink was much better.
Um, but
Much
like,
better.
they're gonna be electric. It's gonna get so loud. But yeah, dude, you guys get that stuff, but we don't know. We really don't know what these teams are when it comes to the team, like the elite squad. We don't know who that is yet,
Well, and
and I was hoping we'd have kind of a little bit more of an answer at this point.
I mean, I do love this. There was some comment, like there's some dumb commentators this week. Maybe it was like last week. It was talking about how like they're disappointed there isn't just like this elite team that's mowing down opponents. And I'm like, that's way more fun. I don't want the obvious, right? Like I just, as a fan of football, I don't want just like, oh, it's the Chiefs. Just give it, just, hang the banner, give them
Mhm.
the trophy. I don't like that. I like that there's a little bit of like, man, because for all of these teams, it's they could if this
Mhm.
happens for every team. Like, is it in the Eagles of last year where it's like, oh yeah, this team is the most complete team. They're probably going to win this thing, right? Or it's Patrick Mahomes. He can win it because he's won three already. He can go for that three-peat. This year, for all of these teams, it's yes, they're great on this side, but if this doesn't happen, they will not win this game. And to me, that's exciting for every team. Um, because it is a who's going to show up and who's going to show up the best. And really, for me, it's like who can get hot for 3 weeks. That's really it. Like I feel like this is a Joe Flacco 2012. It's an Eli Manning run. Like what quarterback can like turn it on for 3 weeks? Because now it doesn't matter what you did over the past 18 weeks of the season. It's what can you do for 3 games? For at least for my team, right? It's three. You have to play 3 games. What can you
Mhm.
do for 3 games? For some of the other teams, what can you play your best ball for a month? And to me,
Yeah.
that's super exciting. because we don't know what that answer will be until
Well, and I
February.
think the identity of every squad determines whether or not that bye week really helps them,
Mhm.
or it hinders them. As we've seen in the college football playoff, number one seeds have not fared well. Indiana just became the first one seed to win their first game in the college football playoff.
Yeah, after
Everybody
having a
else the
bye.
last few years had lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that bye week wasn't helping anybody. I understand their bye is obviously longer than what the NFL gives. They're getting 3 weeks as opposed to two
Which
if they
is
get that first
stupid,
bye.
by the way. That
It is
college
absolutely
football
stupid.
needs to fix their crap.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
But no, I like it. There's a lot of teams that gain momentum. We saw it for several years in the 2010s, where those wild card teams took off and just caught momentum and went. Notably, the Giants when they took
Mhm.
down the Patriots. Like that was a huge win that got them into the playoffs, and then it was like one after another. They just rolled with that momentum until they took down the undefeated team. Right? I'm talking about the first run, obviously. But like, it's interesting to see what benefits a team and what doesn't. Last year's Vikings fell victim. Sam Darnold comes out and has the worst game of his career.
Mhm.
And after getting the bye week and having a historic season, they were 14
He
and 3
he didn't
last
ha-
year,
he
right?
didn't ha- he didn't have a bye week because he lost it to the Lions. Yeah,
Hmm.
Oh, my bad. Yep.
yeah.
Two
But
weeks in
like,
a row. Yeah.
you look at these different teams though, and you're just like, I wonder how this is going to impact them. And while we know that teams are really good, we've seen the rankings, we've seen defensive rankings, we've seen offensive rankings, who's scoring the most points per game, all this different stuff. I, man, there's
It doesn't
questions for every
matter,
team, and we're
but it
going to run
doesn't.
through a little bit of that today. But you just got to win. I mean, it's win and go. It's win and go. There is no tomorrow. It's win and go. Everybody get as healthy as you can and get out on the field and do the dang thing because this is it. This is what you worked your whole life for. And so I'm pumped to see what happens. We've got 1 through 7. We're going to hit that in just a moment. But we're going to recap a little bit of this last week because we did have a couple games that were a little more valuable than the others. And we're going to start with the obvious. The 49ers Seahawks 13-3 win for the Seahawks. In my viewpoint, honestly, there was nothing spectacular that happened from either of these two teams. It kind of seemed like, especially in the first half, this was a I'm not going to show anybody anything right now type of scenario. Nobody's doing anything crazy tricky. We're kind of going with who we are. We know our identity. We're going to do some stuff, and it felt pretty vanilla. Just watching the teams go back and forth. Not that they were at a complete standstill, but it felt pretty vanilla. The Seahawks weren't consistently moving the ball on an obviously completely banged up and bad 49ers defense. They got a chunk play to get their lone touchdown. The 49ers offense looked off all night, just off. It was like here and there they did okay, this is what they do. They go get 3-4 yards on first down with Christian, then they're either going to pass out to the side or do some kind of motion thing to get the run game moving down just a little bit more, try and get to a close third down, and then a penalty. Just a bad play blows up on him, an incomplete pass, a deflection at the line. Weird stuff that kept the 49ers from moving the ball down the field like they have been so effectively the previous 6 games on that win streak. And I really, though, in watching this from beginning to end, guys, this game came down to 3 plays and failures on the 49ers' part to execute. Darnold
I know
has the
that.
hiccup of all hiccups in the backfield, right? Goes to hand the
Yep.
ball off, ball on the ground. Farrell doesn't jump on it. That's a huge miss. Would have been about around the 25-yard line of the Seahawks with a 49er possession in a one-score game. Then, as we're watching, I saw that 3rd and 17 coming. And
That was
I
it.
know my 49ers
Been
real
there.
well. And
Been there.
I looked at my wife who does not care at all about football. And I was like, I'm probably going to yell if they get this first down. My team is stupid and does dumb things like this. They're going to get, if they get it. And she's like, you really think? And I'm like, I think it could happen. And I said that out loud. Hike. That ball goes to the right. Which running back had it? My bad.
Walker.
Walker has it, goes off to the right. This obvious zone scheme, getting the offensive lineman downfield, and the 49ers just can't tackle. Just can't do it. They get the first down, massive miss that would have flipped some field position for them, given them an extra possession. Instead, the Seahawks end up getting a field goal on that drive. And then the really obvious one, once the 49ers did finally start to move effectively in the fourth quarter, CMC gets a pass down at the 2-yard line, in and out of his hands, hands it off to the Seattle defender, like literally hands it off to him at the 2-yard line, something that CMC has only done. I mean, really only turned the ball over like that one other time in the postseason, and that was the Super Bowl against the Chiefs on that first possession where he fumbled it down inside the red zone. Brutal. And those are just the 49ers not executing when they need to. And props to Seattle for maintaining. Darnold did nothing special in this game, but he didn't need to. The biggest thing that the Seahawks sucked at in this game was kicking field goals, which has been
never
incredible
happened.
at.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, this game, like this, the Seahawks were just like, are you sure you guys don't want to win this? Like multiple times throughout the game. Like on the opening drive, Sam Darnold, I don't know why he didn't throw it to Zach Charbonnet out in the flat there and took the sack by, was it D Winters or Bethune? It was one of the two.
Yep.
Like I was like, I saw
Bethune,
it right.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw it right there. I'm like, that he was open. He literally looks to Charbonnet, says no, and then eats a sack. And then we obviously go for it on the fourth down, which I didn't mind the going for it on the fourth down, but that and then 2 misses. I mean, that right there is 13 points off. That easily should have been a 26-3 is what it should have been. But unfortunately, the Niners just couldn't capitalize on some of those things. And to me, like this was absolutely the recipe for the Seahawks to be successful and to win a Super Bowl. Like this type of game where you don't ask Sam Darnold to do a whole lot. You're asking him to just be big on a couple third downs here and there, which he was. That there was that one third down in the fourth quarter that really sealed it away, where he rolled out to his right and hit Cooper Kupp, just kind of finding some open space there. But yeah, it was like 20. I think it was like 19 for 26, 192 yards, no touchdowns.
Right.
But was exactly what they needed from him, and that's what I've been saying for the Seahawks. Starting of the season was. You don't need him to throw 30 times a game. You don't need him to go be Superman. Just have him go and be a game manager. And that's exactly how they can do it, because also this running game, the last 5 games, has had over 120 yards rushing. So like the run game that has been the thing that we've been waiting to see happen is starting to happen. At just the it's like my screen. I don't know what's happening here.
Your camera.
There we go. Oh yeah, but
22 minutes.
but so for me, like that one piece, I feel like for me that I've been hesitant on isn't Sam Darnold. It's, can this run game get going? And to me, that absolutely is starting to happen. Now I know Niners defense, all that stuff, but at the same time, even against some of the other opponents, they're running the ball. They did it against the Rams a couple weeks ago. They ran for like 170 yards with both running backs there. Yep. And Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet combined have over 1,700 rushing yards. Like, as much as we've been talking about this run game not being efficient, they have 1,700 rushing yards. That's absolutely like great. So
for people not doing the math there, that's 100 yards a game.
Yeah, that's 100 yards a game. So they're efficient enough. Ken Walker has barely over 1,000. Zach Charbonnet has over 700. So those things are finally looking that way. And like for me, as a fan of this team, I don't like to say a lot of things, for my team. I try to just stay back because I'm trying to be unbiased here and all this stuff. But we have the 1 seed, we got it. So I'm gonna say just a little bit. This team did end up with the number 1 overall ranked team in DVOA and number 1 ranked defense for DVOA this year. Now the season is over; they officially have clinched that. Only 5 teams have ever accomplished this feat since DVOA became a thing, and 4 of those 5, all 5 of those teams have made the Super Bowl. 4 of them have won it. And so, to me, there is history here to say that this is the team to be confident in. Yeah, Sam Darnold this, yeah, Sam Darnold that, but to me, I go with CJ Stroud. If he takes care of the ball, they can win. Sam Darnold, take care of the ball, they can win. If any of these teams can take care of the ball, they can win, right? Like, we're not saying it just for Sam Darnold. We're saying it with these other quarterbacks as well. And so he's won a couple of the big games that he's needed to, the important ones. Now, he hasn't been flashy in that Rams game. He was big when he needed to be. In this game, he made some third downs when he needed to be, but they didn't need him to go and be Superman, put on a cape. So that's kind of where where I'm at with this team, absolutely. I think that they are the favorites and all the bettings, DraftKings, Las Vegas, all that stuff. And I do think that's fair. They have the best record and tied for the best record in the league. This offense is a top 3 offense, and this defense is a top 2 defense. Like that's what you need, to have that. And all of these metrics point to the Seahawks being a team that can get it done. But it's just, can they? And we'll know in about 5 weeks.
Yeah, it really does seem similar in terms of its construct to the Chiefs' second win. When you look at that, I know they were the top DVOA on that year. That makes a lot of sense. I also, by the way, I didn't know this. I saw the stat come up in the middle of the game. Speaking of ball security and just not giving things away, I had no idea that Charbonnet has never fumbled the ball.
No, but Troy Aikman said that, and then
the curse.
Yeah, because then there was that fumble with Sam Darnold trying to hand off to Charbonnet, which I think the fumble would have gone to Charbonnet. It would,
which is dumb because that was Darnold's fault.
He got tripped up by his lineman or whatever. But
but I was like, I saw that stat come up and I'm like, ever? Like that's for any running back. That's a great stat to have. Also, was not lost on me that when this game was at the 1 score margin, he was taking the majority of carries.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of watching that after that came up earlier on in the game, and I was like, it'll be really interesting to see who they give the ball to when they're up and they just need to kill clock. And was not surprised at all that it was him. That'll be something interesting to pay attention to as we move deeper into the playoffs and get to see maybe some close games there in the third and fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. Do they shift away from Walker with the game on the line and the score close? Is that going to be something that becomes really regular? Though Walker clearly has that explosion and can get the bigger chunk yards consistently. That'll be really interesting to see. Also, really interesting to see how often I don't watch Seahawks every single week because I hate watching them play football. I just cheer for them to lose. But the 6 defensive backs thing has become really heavy for you guys. Just watching that construct against the Niners, and I understand like the Niners and the way that they spread the field out in terms of routes and what they do. Having the extra defensive backs makes sense. And they're not typically, we use 2 tight ends. Niners do probably, I think it's in the 40% range. So if you don't have the 2 tight ends out there, you guys had 6 out every single time.
We have 4 starting caliber safeties. I don't think any other team has 4. 4 of our safeties would be starters on pretty much every other team. Like we have 4 insane ones. It's crazy.
Interesting how you guys are able to bring them in, bring safeties in, and put them right over the tops of tight ends. Because of the pressure, you saw Brock in this game not able to get the ball downfield a ton. Those are the shortest routes I've seen George run consistently throughout the year. I know he was still dealing with the ankle, so I'm imagining they were not putting him out there as far, longer running patterns, all that kind of stuff, where he has to make that one quick cut. I think this is more like design to flow type of routes and construction, but still, like, it's an interesting dynamic that not a lot of teams are using consistently right now. I see the 49ers use about 25% of the time, but to see you guys doing it whenever there was 1 tight end on the field, that's going to be different when you match up with certain teams, and that'll be something I think to watch as you go forward. Is how does this offense scheme, knowing that it has 1 elite receiver, 1 really good tight end, and 2 solid running backs. There's going to be a lot of interesting play designs, I think, for the Seahawks offensively. Not that they're going to be vanilla, by utilizing those different setups where they pull out the multiple tight ends, have multiple running backs out there, that kind of thing. But it's going to continue to develop even more so here in the playoffs now. They're going to open the lid on this offense, and it'll just be really interesting to see how teams try and match up with that, and then defensively how they can break down teams with the flexibility they have both on the defensive line and the defensive backfield in particular. Obviously, the weaker unit of the 3 being the linebacking core for the Seahawks, but still really interesting to see how it happens. I want
to say one more thing, like because of this game and what happened and what Mike McDonald did. There's a lot of talk about him now winning Coach of the Year. Like that's been a thing, and people, claiming that on our reel. The guy to me that deserves the flowers is not Mike McDonald. It's John Schneider, our GM. Like I just want to run through some of the stuff that he's done over the last 4 years. Traded Russ for top for 2 top 5 picks, Charles Cross and Devon Witherspoon. Charles Cross we just signed. Traded away Gino and pivoted to Sam Darnold, which has been a big win. Obviously, trading away Russ has been a big win there. Traded DK for a second-round pick, which we turned into Nick Emanwari. JSN emerges. Moved on from Pete Carroll. We've seen how that now has turned out for the Raiders, as the Raiders have just now let go of him. And then also their draft picks: Bray Zabel, Nick Emanwari, Byron Murphy, Devin Witherspoon, JSN, Derek Hall, Zach Charbonnet, Charles Cross, Abraham Lucas, Boye Mafe, Kenneth Walker, all within the last 4 years. Um, that's unprecedented. That 4 year run that he has had is absolutely why the Seahawks are in the position that they are, because of what the GM has done, making every single right choice. He has not missed at all. And so he deserves all of his flowers. And clearly you don't get that because he's a GM. But he's the reason why they're in the position that they are. So just wanted to have that there for posterity's sake.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week, and we're going to get into postseason awards in a little bit. Jameson might have a little bit to kick in here on this discussion. Are you still good with where we landed in terms of Liam Cohen and, not negating the job that he's done, flipping that team from 4 wins, to the 13-win season that they had? Are you good still with Liam Cohen in that? I know that this was like everybody's saying this is the win, and it was the clincher. I get it, but at the end of the day, it wasn't your guys' best game. So I think that overreaction's been a little bit much. But are you still good with Liam Cohen as the guy when it comes to Coach of the Year?
I am, because the Seahawks won 10 games last year. Like they did. The reason they were the only double-digit win team that didn't make the playoffs because of just the games that they did lose were tiebreakers. But they won 10 games. They were a good team last year. And so like you made the jump from good to great. But to jump from terrible to great, to me, it's still Liam Cohen. Like he has the best turnaround in a 1 year span of any coach. And that's me as a Seahawks fan. Like I can't deny that.
Yeah. I have some stuff on that, but I kind of want to save it for our conversation because I've got some pretty good notes on where that's at. But long story short, I agree. So we'll just say that.
I will, I'll just throw in there. Obviously, Kyle tanked his opportunity at that because this was not his best coaching game at all. Mm-hmm. Even though the Niners, by the way, the Niners have all 5 of their linebackers. All 5 of them are injured that they started the season with. Every single one of them. They're signing dudes off the street for the playoffs. So it's Kazir White just got added to this roster today. It's going to be really interesting. But no, I mean, Kyle's going to lose it now. We were having the conversation week to week that it's not his award anymore. I still believe it's Liam Cohen myself. I think that for all the reasons Grant said, that makes sense. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that conversation develops over the next couple weeks. People can say what they want, dude, but they don't give out these awards until February. And we've said this multiple times. It really feels like the playoffs do influence it. Like there's some momentum. I don't know when they collect the votes. I'm not aware of that, but it's always kind of felt like
for
that.
The most part.
What's that?
Most of them have been turned in already.
Do they get turned in like right after the regular season?
I think it's something like that because remember Kevin O'Connell won it last year. And they were one and done in the playoffs. And my advocate was, Dan Quinn turning 5 wins into 12 wins and going to the NFC Championship. But the reason he did is because they didn't include him going to the NFC Championship. So I believe it's already
before the wild card round, just so there's not any potential because obviously it doesn't count, but it's the optics of that kind of justify the selection.
Right.
And so removing any sort of subtle influence based on postseason outcomes is typically how that's going to be done. But for whatever that's worth, Liam Cohen is 3rd in the odds for Coach of the Year, and he's plus 750. If you're a betting man, I would put some money on that in all honesty, because those are some pretty good odds for somebody who's
above
I
him.
think is really justified. What's that?
Who's above him? If he's 3rd, I'm guessing is Mike McDonald. Jump
Vrabel
up
is the favorite. Mike McDonald is 2nd, and then kind of a somewhat distant 3rd is Liam Cohen, which is why I'm I don't even know if he's a distant 3rd. I personally think he's first place, but we'll crack open that conversation.
Vrabel went 1-2 against teams with a winning record,
and a lot of the pieces they already had,
Drake May,
for
by
real,
the way, for that conversation.
Yep. you know where I'm standing on that. I'm with your guy. 100% I am. But no, this is going to be really interesting when that conversation heats up. We got a couple more games to get to, but I did want to check in on the thoughts of that. And those are good points by Grant. Steelers 26-24 over the Ravens. It's the worst. This is that is as
We all know
bad
the
as a
Steelers
football
aren't
game
really
can
like
end,
that good, right? Like we all know that.
dude.
Well,
I
they just Steelers fans right now are just tap dancing, thinking that they got something here because they proved us wrong or proved other
oh
people
no.
wrong.
Listen, Steelers fans, just hear it loud. You got one extra week. Congratulations. And you got it because a rookie went wide right. Like it's
And
your
because
season's
Harbaugh didn't
cooked.
try to get a couple extra yards when he has 12 seconds and a timeout, and Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson to make an easier kick for your rookie kicker in one
It
of the
doesn't
most
make
like
sense.
difficult places to kick in the league.
I can make it make sense. I can make it make sense. Just I thought about that a lot. Obviously, I'm watching the game with you guys. Um, here's the thing: Derrick Henry, as good as he has been, fumbled
The fumbles.
recently
Mm-hmm.
a couple times. Doesn't make the coach feel good. And if you remember last year, this game or their season ended on a miss
The
from
drop.
Andrews.
Yeah.
And you think about the devastating things that had happened the three previous seasons in total, right? Like Zay Flowers fumble, blah 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 blah. This team has lost in close moments multiple times because he has trusted certain things that were successful throughout the season. Loop had been mostly consistent
First
throughout the
miss inside the
season.
50 all season.
Yep, good rookie kicker. Good rookie kicker. Not elite. Good,
Yeah.
really solid. Probably, and I will say though, if they value his life, they may want to ship him away to another team in the
They're gonna
offseason.
want to put
Dear,
him into witness protection program like
yeah, he's gonna
tonight.
get booed every time he takes the field next season.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're one of those people, calm the crud down.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, maybe
Dude,
don't be an 8-9 football team that needs a rookie kicker to make a decent kick on the road in Pittsburgh to make it into the playoffs. I don't think that was your problem. I think your problem was letting Aaron Rodgers look like 2020 Aaron Rodgers in the end of the
yeah,
game there and just get whatever he wants.
maybe if you're the
yeah.
safety playing on the left side or on the right side
Oh
of the
my
field, you might want to just think about the fact that there's no one behind you and your job is to cover the side. And if you're the corner releasing in zone, maybe take a look in front of you, just throwing it out there. The fact that there's nobody there and tail the guy. And I understand that Calvin Austin is like crazy fast and all that crud. He wasn't even moving. Like he was
Well, he
just
got that guy got
jogging
his
down the
ankles
field.
broken badly with like 5 yards of cushion
Dude,
on a little like hitch, and I was like, "Are we serious?"
dude,
But that's the Ravens' defense this year,
that it has
especially
not
without
been what
Hamilton
it
in the
was,
game.
and it is and bigger issue, man, is we've been talking about this stuff with the coordinators. It matters. Like keeping coordinators matters. As a 49er fan, terrified. Every single year we get poached out like crazy. But
I'm
you
scared
watch
about it
when
this year.
yeah, I'm worried about it
We all are.
right now, and my defense isn't even good. Because Saleh got new representation today, and the Cardinals came calling. I don't know what they're thinking. Like that's not happening. The Niners are not allowing Saleh to interview in division. That's no. But no, like it's a real thing. When Mike McDonald left, watch that defense go. Hmm. Hmm. I mean, they have deflated, and I understand Lamar missed more time than Lamar ever has. In that regard, like he's missing time. But like, dude, not having your coordinators and having to reconstruct, what somebody else has started to build every couple of years sucks, and we don't see that consistency anymore. I'm wondering at what point we start seeing $7.5 million coordinators, like genuinely.
Keep them to stay.
Because
I think teams should for some of these teams that are like close. For instance, let's say Clint Kubiak has been the name that's been going around. He's
sure,
had multiple requests right now. Like I would say Seahawks don't win it all, whatever. Um, I really want him to stay because I want another year of that offense to figure some things out to potentially go for it. And that's why Ben Johnson stayed the extra year he did when we thought he might go,
Yep.
the year earlier. But if the Jets got to pay him, $8 million, $7.5 million, do it to keep him. Like absolutely, you should. Because
Yeah.
what are the most quarterback head coaches making? Like 15,
No,
like
no,
top
we're
of
in
the
the 10
market.
range. Yeah,
Okay,
we're
I
the 10, 11. I think 11 and a half is Sean Payton, isn't it?
it might
I'm
be.
pretty
I'll
sure.
look it up. I'll look it
I'm
up.
just
I'll look
They
it
don't
thinking
up.
have coach
recent.
contracts off the dome like that. But I mean, to
Yeah.
your point, like you think the Lions wouldn't be dying to like shell out a couple extra mil to have Ben Johnson back this year, seeing how things went?
All
You
them
think the
dollars.
Eagles wouldn't have wished and hoped and prayed for a better offensive coordinator this year
Dear Lord.
after last year?
They miss Kellen Moore. Like, oh my gosh.
No,
Yeah.
dude, it's harder than you think. The top is Andy Reid at 20 mil.
What?
Sean Payton at 18. John Harbaugh, well, was John Harbaugh at 17. Mike Tomlin at 16. Yeah, this is as of
Okay. I can be wrong.
uh
That's fine.
this was as of the beginning of this NFL
Guess
season, so
what's
September.
not getting clipped off this episode?
I'll clip it. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but so
Matt's
like
knowledge of
How dare
coach
you not know
contracts.
head coach contracts
yeah, like
in
Sean McVay's
2026?
making 15, Kyle Shanahan's making 14, Ben
That makes
Johnson
sense.
13, Mike Vrabel 14. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I mean where they're ranked in terms of dollars, that makes sense. Who's making the most, who's making what they are. But
right.
no, I think that we're gonna have to start seeing these coordinators get paid more because those are money runs, dude. Like with contracts being that
Yeah,
high
dude.
for proven guys anyway. Yeah, you've got to start paying coordinators more just to keep them in there. I mean, it
Even
just
just that
matters
one
so
more year,
much.
man, just to keep him that one extra year.
Especially if you are like a Nick Sirianni style coach where like you don't really have a thing that you like specialize in his case besides being, something that I probably shouldn't say on the show. But like he's not like the Sean McVay or the Shanahan or the Mike McDonald where it's like we got our offensive
The mind.
guru or a defensive guru and we're just like supplementing in other places or to kind of fill out our team. But this is our identity. It's built on what our head coach is calling. Um, yeah, like again, Dan Campbell, excellent vibes guy. We saw him take over play calling this season, and we're not watching them play any more football. So,
Yep.
like, it is now more than ever so important. And yeah, I think we're going to start seeing some crazy coordinator contracts over these next couple of years, especially. And it really makes a lot of these coaching things really interesting, especially now with so many vacancies. Think about how many coordinators are going to become, first time head coaches. And also think, I don't know if you guys have caught on to this too. I think it's really interesting. Like it's kind of shifted from offensive coordinators to like the new hot thing is like all of these like young defensive minds are kind of like starting to take over in various ways. I mean, you look at some of the most horrifying teams in the playoffs right now, and some of them are built around these like defensive identities. So I think that's a really cool thing that's going to happen and continue to happen. But man, yeah, like
I mean, it's the pendulum swing,
coordinators,
right? Because like
yeah, like
it
that.
was the Shanahan, it was the McVay, it
Mhm.
was literally like those guys. Offenses were the hot thing, and it was the offenses that were winning, championships. But I think this year, one of the teams that like the three of like the four of the best teams, it's like the defense is what's carrying these teams. And so
Yeah,
we're seeing
but
that happen.
what I push back. I actually had this conversation a little bit today in the office. What I push back on that is that DVOA is becoming the thing, right? It's defensive
Hmm.
efficiency. So it's you're still allowing yards, like yards you're willing to give up, field goals you're willing to give up. You don't want to surrender in the red zone. That's the big thing. The NFL right now has less shutouts over a 5 year period than it has over any 5 year period in the history of the sport.
Hmm.
Points are a thing. Kickoffs, being what they are, and the rules on that. We grew up. Those of us who are over the age of 35, we grew up watching teams start on the 20 all the time. And
Yeah.
now regularly I'm watching teams start between the 30 and the 35. And when you've got guys like freaking Little launching
Dude,
balls in the stratosphere and making near 70-yard kicks without taking a deep breath.
NFL record kick, indoor and outdoor and preseason with the 70 yarder. all in the
all this
same
season.
season, and he's like 22 years old.
Dude,
That's
he's
Yeah,
nuts.
well,
disgusting.
the Jaguars essentially all they need is like a first down to score points
Yep.
because they're starting at the 35-40. Like that's all they need.
Yeah.
That's
Special
insane.
teams, special teams and an insane kicker, and that's what you need. So like I would push back and say that, that in terms of like these are elite defenses that we're seeing. I think if you were to look like an all-time conversation, we start thinking about that. Obviously, we don't have one of those right now. Like nobody's coming out and just busting you in the face and not allowing any yards. That's not happening. That's old school football. That's the way it used to be played. The way that the rules are, that's just not going to happen. But we are seeing these control defenses where they learn to spread that zone out, go get you with 4 guys, drop 6, drop 7 even, and they can keep you from that first down. And offenses are starting to make some adjustments to that as well. By the way, they're going on 4th down more than ever in the last 3 years. That percentage has only gone up. And in my opinion, Ben Johnson super started that trend.
Yeah.
Just all the time. I mean, having Dan Campbell, Mr. Go for it, doesn't hurt you when you're a coordinator. But no, we just kind of seen that. So I think that yes, defensive efficiency is the trend, but I wouldn't say that shut you down defense is really out there right now. That's not what anybody's trying to do. That's not what Mike McDonald's trying to do. He's not aiming to get 3 points, for the 49ers. Like he's literally just trying to win games, and he's making the most of his offensive possessions and then trying to make sure that you don't beat him with multiple touchdowns, and that you're not controlling his clock. That's how he's winning, and that's efficiency. Like it works. It works in this game. It's a different type of defense. So
Offenses are
maybe
just too
you're
good
not
now.
wrong, but it's just different, right?
Yeah, just offenses are too good now. You can't stop them from moving the ball with how it goes nowadays. Like you just look at the passing yard, like the surgence of that in like the mid 2010s, and just like every offense was like scoring 30 points a game, that kind of stuff. Like that has come down for sure. But they're still moving the ball though, and so that's how defenses have adjusted to this new, than just airing it out, air raid type of thing. Is now okay. We'll just limit it, and then we'll get real tight at the 20-yard line to where we're making you kick a field goal, and that's our win now, and that's how you can win is just making them kick field goals.
Yeah, I mean, it was a surprise, right? When we saw at the end of the game we were mentioning just a moment ago, the Steelers Ravens, these two offenses not been able to do a whole bunch, and then all of a sudden you get two quarterbacks just saying, "Screw it, let's go." And Lamar and Rodgers just go old school and start chucking. Didn't care. By the way, the likely catch and the throw from Lamar to set
So
that up.
good.
Really
So
sucks
good.
Aaron had a much easier throw. Not trying to negate what Aaron did. That was old school Aaron Rodgers. Holy cow! Like, it reminds us of all the things that we have seen from him for well over a decade and a half now. But like, that likely catch was legit. Like
Gotta
such a
one of those
great
high
throw.
pointed.
that's like
Right, such a
lost
great
in
catch.
time because like all we're ever gonna remember is the kick being missed
Yeah,
and that whole thing. But like everything, it's I mean not to put pour salt in the wound, but like same thing in that Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl where
Mhm.
you have that crazy catch down the
That Jermaine
sideline,
curse, no
that
one's gonna,
Jermaine
no one
curse,
remembers it.
and it was like, like that's gonna go down in Super Bowl history as like the catch that sets this thing up. Obviously, the stakes are much smaller here, but
yep.
it's to get into the
That's
the
funny.
playoff bracket, and you have an amazing play when you have to have it on 4th down, and then that's what it comes down to. It's brutal stuff.
Just,
It's kind of the
if
same thing but different when the Rams, like Nakua has that catch on the sideline, the crazy catch in the snow last year in the postseason, and it's like, oh, the Rams are going to come back right here. This is insane. That catch going to be forever immortalized in NFL playoff history. And then
Nope.
we don't pull it off, and now it's like if you remember it, that's great, but if you don't, then
bro,
that's just how it is.
That'd be great to
yeah,
like compile like the like most forgotten plays of all time, like just
sure.
all just there because there's so many to choose
Well,
from that are just
just
forgotten because the next play there's a pick six, the next play there's an
imagine
interception, the next
like
play.
if we
Yeah,
didn't see that ball, if we see the ball get pinned against the dude's head, and you know exactly what catch I mean when I do this, right?
yeah.
Like, and this
And
is
Tyree.
by the way, about 20 years ago now. Okay. You remember this and seeing this,
But don't
but
say
like
that.
if the next play isn't Burris catching the ball in the corner, you don't
Yeah,
remember that at all. It doesn't even matter.
exactly.
Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't, to be honest with you, I don't really. I when you say it, I remember the cursed catch, but all I remember is laughing my head off at the room of
Yep.
Seahawk fans that I was in. Because it's the one time I've ever rooted for the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and like losing my mind about that. Like the cursed catch didn't
Oh,
even
that catch
matter.
is insane. That
Julio
catch is
Jones,
insane.
It's awesome.
Julio
That
Jones in the 28-3 game on the sideline, that
Yep.
incredible catch, and
Oh my
then
But then there was a more
like
insane one with the Julian Edelman
yeah, like real ballers
circus.
will remember, like real ball knowers will remember that catch, but it does get
Yep.
lost in the fact that like, oh, it was 28-3,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not like,
No.
oh, remember this catch that like sealed the Super Bowl. And yeah.
And
Yep.
legitimately, like we've said this multiple times, we are because we're Lamar Jackson fans. I would say that all of us appreciate his game
He
100%.
should have been MVP last year in my opinion.
Yes.
Yep. Same.
Yeah. 10 to 1. 10 to 1 on that ratio. But I don't know that I've seen him throw a better ball right in the middle of that zone, underneath safety, over the top linebacker, like perfect. And the linebacker, you see that hand extended. I mean, ball goes right
Oh,
over the top. It
barely.
was
Yeah. It's a
so
bucket.
awesome. And
Yeah,
then,
the high point, like he got up to get like
yeah,
as extended as much as his hands could to get that thing, and
that
took
is
a hit
ripping
too.
the seam to perfection. Like
Yeah,
absolutely great. And then that happens. But that's
but
football.
because
That
but
is what it
but
is.
we're not talking about that because Tyler Loop missed the kick, and then John Harbaugh got fired. Maybe you mentioned that he's
Yeah,
gone.
dude. Yeah, we ran a post there right after today when he got fired. We're recording on Tuesday, and I was just sitting there like looking at this guy's achievements. 10 wins per season on average for 18 years. Wow. Like that is
Yeah,
insane. 614 win percentage, 13-11 playoff record, holds the record for most road wins by a head coach in the playoffs with 8.
Mhm.
Like this guy has
Obviously a
done
Super
nothing but
Bowl as
get it
well
done.
in there, just throw that out. Also won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
yep.
Yeah. I mean, Super Bowl winner. I mean, I was looking, I was trying to add up all of his Hall of Fame players that he coached. Insane numbers. By the way, he inherited one specific one when he got
Yeah.
there, but when you like look down the line and you see, I mean, he coached Ed Reed, um, number of linemen. I as a Duck fan, I loved getting to watch Haloti Nada
I was gonna
in
say
his
hello.
defensive system. Like loved it. It was perfect for him. Yeah, that team's been terrifying for a long time. My team lost the Super Bowl to them in the blackout game in the Superdome. They are the Ravens are John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh is the Ravens. When you think of that team, you're going to think of three things. You are 100% going to think of sorry, I'm going to say it first. Ray Lewis. You're going to think of Ed Reed. You might throw in Flacco. I could understand that. But you're going to think of Harbaugh. Like he is the identity. And I just can't imagine that team without him. Like it's just so weird. I
And
don't like
it's
how it happened. I hate that it ended that way. I would have loved to see a mutual parting, but apparently, that 63-year-old coach was not ready to be done, and he had no desire to leave, and they could not find some common ground on anything. I think they really did want him to make the choice. And it sounds like this may have not been the first time that this conversation had taken place between him and ownership about what they might do after a season and maybe, hey, should we, and ownership forced the hand here. And that's a bummer. But I saw something hilarious on this already today. Schefter has been all over this. There's been some hilarious kind of little mini drama coming out. Within 45 minutes, John Harbaugh's representation had taken 7 phone calls from teams inquiring about his availability. There are 7 openings in the NFL, including the Ravens. So that means
there's a
a
team in
team with a
there.
coach, at least one,
I
called
don't know if
today.
this is I don't know if this is like a reliable thing that I saw, but the little like whispers that I saw was Todd Bowles and the
Yep.
Bucks,
Yep.
Obviously, he's still coaching right now. I don't believe he should be. But if
Amen.
you are that team and you're like trying to determine, okay, where am I at in this process here? And a guy like Harbaugh becomes available, that I think expedites some decisions that you have to make.
There's so many teams. Like I would say at least a dozen that he is better than that are coaching like right now, probably.
Oh
Like
yeah.
at least a dozen. That's yeah. So I'm not
We'd honestly
surprised.
be taking some good
Mhm.
coaches, and just saying, hey man, he's just
It's John
better.
Harbaugh. It's John
Like,
Harbaugh.
sorry.
And the fact that this guy, like he's like was the second longest tenured coach at 18 years, to get to where he did, to have the success that he did as a special teams coordinator is unheard of. It's always
Yeah.
defensive coordinators, always offensive coordinators. But to get there as a special teams guy, which is oftentimes the most overlooked aspect of the game, extremely important, but always seems to be the last thing that people try to, figure out. Um, is just insanely impressive. So yeah,
Well,
definitely a
I will
bummer to
say
see go.
If he
there
And
was
it's
a
wants
run
to,
so
if he
going.
wants to come to Los Angeles and rehabilitate his image as our special teams coordinator for a year, I would sign up for that immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I was just thinking of this, like the guys that I would take over, or take him over. I'm sorry, Mr. Campbell. I'm sorry, Mr. LaFleur. Just to name two, I would right now. Yeah, like I say that with all due respect. LaFleur. At what point do we just say, "Hey, man, you're really good in the regular season, but you suck when it comes to pressure, and you have not gotten it done once."
Well, if not for the 7 seed, they're not really in the playoffs ever. Like if you go
if they
back
get
and look at
blown
their
out, is
last several playoff appearances are all like 7 seeds. And they've won, a couple of
yeah,
those games for sure and good on you, but we've talked about on this show, I think he's a good regular season head coach, but if you're always landing in 7 seeds, you're not really setting yourself up for postseason success. And it kind of gets to a point similar with Harbaugh, where it's like, that's great, you're winning in the regular season, you're getting into the postseason, but then you started to see kind of
yeah,
a decline in postseason success following that Super Bowl, which I just think you can't get away with if you have a guy like Lamar Jackson in his prime, especially when you've now paired him up with some young defensive talent and obviously Derrick Henry on offense, who, if you go
Hall of
look at his
Famer
numbers from
Derrick
this
Henry.
year, still almost sneakily like a dominant rushing season yet
what do you
again.
have? Like
And
over
here we are,
1,200
8-9,
yards
not in
and
the
double digit
playoffs.
touchdowns. Like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I think
So,
he was over 1,500 all purpose again.
yep.
um,
Just continues to dominate.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
but I
it'll
do
be
love Harbaugh in
interesting.
Tampa Bay. I do. I
I
kind of
love it.
And plus, you can't tell me this doesn't matter to people when you've coached in Baltimore for what, 18 years, and then you get an opportunity to go down to Florida, even if it's Tampa Bay of all places in Florida.
Hey, what
Like,
does
you
brother
can't tell
Just
do?
me that as a 60 something year old, that is not at least in the back of your mind a little bit.
That is
I'm here. I'm
literally where
here.
they all go. That's where
Exactly.
they all
Like,
go
Dude,
it's
anyway.
it's the
it's
it's
Jan.
the circle of life, but you get to
It's
coach a pretty
January and
good
it was
football
80
team.
degrees today. That's where I'm on vacation, and it was 80 degrees today in January.
Uh,
Like,
Jimmy
yeah,
Johnson lives in Tampa. Troy Aikman lives in Miami. Like it's where all these dudes
Yeah.
go.
And
Like
and
you,
also
yeah,
if you are Harbaugh, because my thing right now, kind of before we move on from the whole Harbaugh conversation, is I, as good of a coach as he is, I do think he needs to go into a situation that isn't like we have to win right now. Like I think he needs a little bit of like, let me kind of settle in, let me get my groove going, because then it's going to turn into, oh, he took over this team and oh, they didn't hit expectations. Harbaugh is not the coach that he was, and then it kind of turns into this whole thing. But if you go to Tampa Bay, for example, and you have a pretty good roster and you're in one of the weakest divisions in all of football, you can kind of sit there and be like, okay, like we don't have to be the expectations of the Ravens. If I'm Tampa Bay, if I win 10, 11 games, I'm going to win this division. Everyone's going to love it. I'm going to love living in Florida. I'm going to have Baker Mayfield as my quarterback and a couple of other awesome guys. That's a pretty good spot. But even if you go to a team like the Giants, you have immediate expectations for a team that's not even that
yep.
good,
That market's
and it's
insane.
just like another level of stress that you have to deal
he,
with.
he
So,
is he is currently listed as the favorite for the Giants job.
which I
Uh,
still don't mind. I just
I
think Tampa Bay would be like the perfect slot in, still have like a good chance to get into the playoffs, but
yeah,
not have the weight of like Super Bowl or bust,
It's the
basically.
most ready team of the teams available, and part of our episode today is to go a little bit through that carousel. When you look at these rosters, the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Browns, the Falcons, the Giants, the Titans, the Ravens, and potentially, I'll throw it in there, the Bucks. You're 100% going for the Bucks. I think that
Mm-hmm.
secondarily, obviously, the Ravens are the prize. He's not going back there, so for him. You could definitely make the case that the Ravens are a greater prize than the Bucks. I totally understand that, but
Yeah.
look at the win loss; it's actually insanely the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you look at these other rosters, I'd probably rank it personally. Um, man, Falcons make a little bit of a tough deal there, but I like where the Giants are at probably overall. I don't love Schoen's personality, but you can't deny what he's been able to draft the last couple of years. The offensive talent clearly being there. Jax Dart was the get, and good on him. Scadabo's insane, but like, yeah, if he comes back from that injury, that's terrifying. But I think the Falcons would be 1B there. You
There's a lot.
obviously
I
have
would
I
agree.
want I want an offensive mind to go there and
yeah.
actually use Bijan and Drake London. And maybe if Kyle Pitts maybe has, given himself new life there, maybe he'll sign a 2-year deal
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. But like an offensive guy there to finally utilize these weapons that we've like are like being wasted away in Atlanta.
Clint
Like
Kubiak, you
Yeah,
are the
like
head coach.
Kubiak. I
I
was
hope
literally
not.
For the
waiting
Atlanta
for him to
Falcons.
stop talking so I could say it.
Yep.
I hope
You,
not.
it would be a
But
perfect fit.
I it probably would, and I would hate that.
Yeah, it'd be a perfect fit. You got a guy with some age on him, who comes in with clear processes, clear communication, and can go in and help a young quarterback get there. I don't like the Kyle Pitts idea. I think that's terrible. Go get a real tight end. In today's NFL,
I'm
dear
no,
lord.
I'm just saying that he's
Yeah.
like because there's just like this mystical element of Kyle Pitts of like what he can be. He's probably
He
that
had
one
one
game
really
has
good game, guys.
that one game
Yay!
has probably given him a 2 or 3 year deal. Like
No, I mean his freak abilities will give him that. I'm just saying when you're talking about a real offense, like if he wants to go play for the Titans or the Cardinals or
Miami.
what, sure, anybody like that,
Yeah.
garbage. You go ahead and do that, but in the game that we play where you have to freaking block,
just line
and
him out wide. Like don't even bother putting him on the line of scrimmage. Just
there isn't a
let him
defensive
play wide
end that
receiver.
guy can block in the league at
Yeah.
all.
No.
I mean, he's nothing more than a chip. So, but no, I look at those rosters, guys, and like there's some nice things. I I would say the third roster for me, if I'm looking at those teams, I like the Raiders. Number one pick, stone cold defensive end. Like you have the defensive piece. You have two really good pass catching tight ends on that team. They have some young Trey Tucker is a young receiver on this team that's pretty good. They need to rebuild an offensive line. But like when you look at that team as a whole, I, the opportunity to go get Dante Moore, Mendoza, whoever your quarterback is with the one pick, or even trade down and maybe that guy's there depending on who you work with in those top three. Um, I don't hate that at all, and to have a solid backup that that Gino's going to be with that big contract, they're not moving him, so like okay, maybe he's got to do one more year, and then they can
Mm-hmm.
get rid of him after the second year because that third year is basically just void and gone. There's a little to nothing cap hit on that dead cap. But I actually think the Raiders might be the third roster. When I was looking at these teams today, I was like, that does not look bad to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'd
because
like
also like to sell you a Cardinals take that I don't
really
hate.
why
It, again, it's another retirement spot. You go to Arizona.
okay.
Uh, I do think here's the thing that I think is disqualifying. Like you don't go from the AFC North to the NFC West if you're like, I can't go in and win playoffs. Like that's not
no.
really where you want to go. So it's the exact opposite of my point of going to the NFC South and coaching the Bucks. But I do think like as far as a roster goes, like again, you have no expectations, but you do have some good pieces, and you kind of just say, here, Harbaugh, like kind of quietly come over here, take on a team that is like not really like terrible, but like pretty bad.
We
Uh,
wins.
yeah, but I mean, like I think there's some guys there that you're like you feel good about. maybe not as many of because I think the Raiders have like better guys, but then like for every great guy, there's like four guys that I don't know their
Yeah, they don't
name.
have depth.
Yeah, and like the Cardinals can be like feisty, but obviously they're not winning any games, and you have a big question mark at quarterback. So
Defensive
maybe there's a
rebuild.
quarterback situation that changes that and makes it a little bit more attractive. But that would be kind of my honorable mention because obviously, like the Browns, he's not going to the Browns. He's not going to the Titans. Obviously, he can't go back to the Ravens. So if I were to throw in another honorable mention, like the Cardinals would be kind of the last little piece. But I think just being
I
in
get
such
why
a
you could
crazy
piece
division
that one in there.
disqualifies that.
Yeah, I get why you could piece it. That doesn't make like the worst sense or anything like.
Mhm.
But I just think there's obviously more attractive offers. The Giants are going to be able to pay him $1 billion.
Mhm.
Tampa probably would as well in that scenario, and the Falcons definitely could. Arthur Smith has all them dollars.
Mhm.
But no, the coaching carousel is going to be really interesting, and we'll see some of that come into play this next week. We'll actually probably see a coach or two get hired before we're all doing this again. I think it's only going to speed up. Speaking of the Bucks, just really fast, that was dumb. I'm going to say, like, that's the dumbest way for a team to make the playoffs with what happened with them and the Panthers. Panthers lose the game. Then the Falcons bail them out by beating the Saints. That moves all the tiebreakers around. The Panthers get into the playoffs with a losing record, which is absolute trash. I'm here for the conversation about the fact that, yeah, we're all in divisions and everything, but your record should matter more than anything else. If you were to reseed right now, and just take records into account. Obviously, that team's not even making the playoffs. You get another team with a winning record in the playoffs. You'd also make the case, and we have in our text thread this last week, that, hey, if the division's still going to matter, let's just reseed according to your win-loss and do the head-to-head in division as tiebreakers, which I totally agree with. In
Mhm.
that scenario, you have the 49ers hosting a playoff game this week. Just because of win loss throughout the season. And you'd have the
All of our
Panthers
teams are
as the
hosting
seventh
playoff
seed.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all the NFC West is hosting. That's what would be happening right now. The best division of football would
Yeah.
be hosting 3 home games, which makes perfect sense.
A
You guys would be
12 win
playing
team.
the Panthers, right?
Yeah, a 12-win team is going on the road to play an 8-win division winner.
Ridiculous.
Like,
Stupid.
yeah.
Absolutely stupid. The NFL needs to fix it. The NBA does this right. We've said it before. We're going to say it again. The NBA doesn't do a lot right, but they do that right. I like the seeding according to your win loss. Even when you look at the college football playoff, I understand there's those auto bids and all that garbage that's in there. We don't really understand how all that works necessarily, but it's kind of undeniable that the teams with more wins get the higher priority for bye weeks and hosting games, and it
Yep.
makes sense. The NFL does so many things right; they got to get that right. This is the dumbest way I've ever seen a team make the playoffs. I mean, well, maybe outside of Miss Kick, you know, but I hate it. I don't like losing teams being able to be in the playoffs at all. That's
I
where
heard
record
this
just to me matters.
I heard this be called the trial by combat game because like both teams like played their game and then had to watch other people fight for them to decide their fate. So it's like in Game of Thrones when you've got, like this guy over here fighting for you and this guy over here fighting for you. And if that guy
Yeah.
dies, you're also dead. So sorry about it. You can't actually do anything about it besides watch. And I don't know if you guys saw that clip of Baker Mayfield like sitting on the couch and
Hmm.
just like
I saw it.
stressing,
Yep.
like basically pulling his hair out. And I'm like,
Ridiculous.
that is a really bad way to either get into or in his case get kicked out of the
Yeah.
playoffs after winning that week. But all the
Yeah, but at the
tiebreakers
same
I
kind of how
mean,
they
time,
do, and
the argument
win.
for it is you put yourself in this situation, much
You
like we talked
did.
about with the Ravens and them, not blaming it all
Mhm.
on Luke missing the kick. It's because of all these other things that they did.
Yeah,
There's an argument there for the other side, just to play devil's advocate. It's like you should
Yep.
not have been put the fate of your playoffs in the hands of the Saints. Okay,
Win
yeah,
should
win
not
one of
have.
those 4 1-score games out of your last 8. Like, come on.
Yeah,
yeah. I
Like,
mean,
win
the
one of
Bucks
them.
completely torpedoed
Yeah.
at the end of the season, but also on the flip side of that devil's advocate, you could do the same thing, but the inverse for the Panthers, where it's like the Panthers didn't put themselves in the position to make the playoffs. They're going into the playoffs with a losing
8-9.
record and also coming off of a loss that was supposed to be a game that decided who won the
Should
division.
have
So
been a
it's
win
just
and
like
in.
a
Se-
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a weird, really weird feeling.
7 and they were 7-1 and ended 2-7. That's how it flipped. I'm
Five.
pretty sure.
Is it Bucks?
Yeah.
They started 5-2,
Okay, so they're
and
five.
Well, they were even. I think they even had a better record than that. I think they
they might
were
have.
closer to like seven and
I
two.
don't
But
feel
yeah,
like
I mean
looking it
they
up.
ended
We're
on
not going to
a.
clip it.
I think it was like a 1-7 record until they beat the Panthers or something at the end of the season. So
Yeah.
Well, aforementioned in rapid fire form here, I'll go through the remaining games from this week. Stuff that didn't matter, stuff that kind of mattered. The Falcons 19-17 over the Saints, getting the Panthers into the playoffs. Genuinely, Raheem Morris doing something good and then getting fired the next day. That was kind of interesting. But I think Arthur Smith wanted to fire him the second that he drafted Michael Penix anyway. So just finally found a reason to do it. Texans 38-30 over the Colts. The Texans barely hold the all-important fifth seed on the AFC side. The Commanders beat the Eagles 24-17. Tanner McKee was playing quarterback for the Eagles. Doesn't really matter. Once that and these teams were watching the scoreboard, you could tell like legitimately they were easing up. It was like the Bears were like, "Hey, we're good," and the Eagles were like, "All right, we're good." So they took their matchups and just kind of laid down. The Lions get a 19-16 win over those Bears. Okay, it didn't matter. Wasn't a big deal. This was the 2 or the 3 seed for the Bears, and it did not really have any significant outcome. The Broncos win 19-3 over the Chargers. The Chargers couldn't really do anything in terms of moving around and seeding. Nothing was going to super benefit them. Herbert gets the week off. Broncos had or secure the 1 seed with the win, but I kind of applaud the Chargers for the move. I think it's smart for them, recognizing there was nothing really to be gained here, and they need rest. So that makes a lot of sense for them.
mm-hmm.
The Rams get the win 37-20 over the Cardinals. The only hope and prayer that my 49ers had left this season was the Cardinals somehow beating the Rams. But since your Rams played all their starters, the entire game, that wasn't going to happen.
Oh yeah,
The Rams
going
get
to not get the opportunity for a 5 seed there.
that made a lot of sense for you. I get it. Niners did this to themselves. Rams win to keep the 5 seed after the Niners lost. The Bills and Patriots win easily to keep the 6th and 2nd seeds respectively. And here we go. So, after all the regular season's done, we've now got everything working for us in terms of the playoff matchups. We know where everybody's at. The Patriots will be hosting the Chargers in the first round. The Jaguars will be hosting the Bills, and the Steelers will be hosting the Texans. The aforementioned Broncos getting the bye and the 1 seed on the AFC side. On the NFC side, the Bears will be hosting the Packers. The Niners are traveling to Philly, and the Rams are going to Carolina to play the Panthers, which kind of feels like a bye week, if I'm really honest. I think that's
Tune-up
the
game.
massacre.
Mm-hmm.
It's the massacre of the weekend. That's the
I
one
mean,
I
the
will.
Panthers did beat them. Like, who knows? But I doubt it.
Nah, that was a hiccup game.
That was
Devonta
the
Adams
trap game of
supposed to
all
be
trap
back.
games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Devonta Adams supposed to be back for this game. Rams are going to be fully loaded.
Quentin Lake is back on defense.
Mhm.
We might have Kevin Doncic back again, who got lost in the Seattle game. So, yeah, they're going to be healthy. It's going to be Carolina. I think they're 10.5-point favorites last time I checked on the road.
Yeah.
So, neutral site. That's basically a 2 touchdown, that favor that they're getting. So, but I'll still be crossing all my fingers and toes because you never know these days.
Well, so we know the matchups. We know what's coming. We're going to discuss. Here is the last segment of the show this week. Just a quick update. We just finished out the regular season. I don't really understand what Mike did. If I'm being honest on the results here, we have 2 different records in our thing. Mike won. We know that. We're all
No,
pretty
so
confident.
the record was after the second record is what it is
Yeah,
after this last week.
the results is the final records, and then
Oh, okay. I
the
can.
pick results was before we, did those picks.
Got it. Okay. Okay. No, my bad. My bad then. I now get it. So Mike went 60 and 30 on the year, and we've said this many times. If you like making money, just copy that guy. Okay? Like he's really, really
Yep.
good. Um he is who we are usually chasing. Actually, I did really good to begin, and I have just started to do this.
I
Well,
think the
this
last
week
like
was also
three.
brutal for all of us except for Grant, who like barely
I've gone
squeaked
from
above
second
500
to
this
My
week.
third to
Hawks helped
fourth.
me out. My Hawks helped me out. Last two times we picked them, they did help me out. So,
Yep. The
yep.
well, Jameson took second. Not a bad showing at all. Grant
Well, Grant
ties
and I
with
are
him.
tied. Yeah.
And I finished one game under them at 52 and 38. The truth is, we're collectively good at this. I had a really good start and a horrible finish.
You're like the
Uh,
Bucks.
It was
like
also
Like
a
the
so,
really
Bucks.
weird
You're
year.
like
yeah,
the Bucks of this
and the
year.
Bucks of the year. I
Yeah.
should fire the coach. But, no, I mean, still a great year for us overall.
Mm.
We did awesome. We've definitely had worse years, collectively, and we don't want to give Mike any more props than we have to, and we know that he's listening to this. So, yeah, congratulations. Cool.
Yeah, the
That's
least
all I'm giving
surprising
him.
outcome of all time, Mike winning
But
Pick'em.
I wanted to unify us for the playoffs. So I came up with a challenge. Um, we are going to, the four of us, take on three former guests and an additional individual that I've been talking to a little bit about maybe building a few segments for us here on the show and or being a part of it. So we're going to take on another team of four in the playoffs. We will be picking winners and the scores. We get 1 point for every team, every winner that we guess correctly. And then one person's team will get 3 points for guessing closest to the score. Okay, so we do that is like it doesn't matter the over under whatever. It's you got to pick the winner correctly and then get the score that's closest after you pick that winner correctly. Your score gets invalidated if you pick the wrong winner. So that's how we're going to play the game. Four of us against our guests and guest picker. And I've got I think I've got all of their entries. I may have to add one late, but we have not. Oh, my bad. Let's see. 1 second. I may have it on email. Nope, I do not. All right. So we are going to go through and do ours. We have not seen each other, so we could not manipulate each other's scores and winners. We have not done any of that. I've already got mine listed right here. You guys got yours. Mike's inputted his. We have not seen the guest pickers and their stuff, so we have no idea. So we're going to give ours. I'll briefly run through the ones I got from them, and then we're going to see what happens as we go into the wild card round this weekend. So let's get the first game out of the way. I thought they were all there. We go. Okay. Mike has taken the Patriots in this first matchup against the Chargers. He does not have his score in here. He knew he was supposed to do that. He's in trouble. But we'll go ahead and add it his here a little bit. So can't manipulate us. Jameson, you need to pick a winner and a score of the Patriots Chargers game.
Ooh, this
And
one's
someone
actually
else,
kind of tough.
real quick, Matt, are you able to type it in since
Yep. Yeah.
okay.
All right. Here's where I'm going, and this is maybe a hot take. This is maybe a hot
Oh,
take.
I know. If you're going hot take, I know you're gonna piss
Uh,
off some fans in Boston.
yeah, I don't say this because I love it. I'm saying it because, content. But I also kind of believe it a little bit. I'm going to take the Chargers. I'm going to take them 24-21 over New England.
24 to
Oh,
21.
that's a
I might
lot
be
of
the only
them.
person that takes the Chargers, but um,
Maybe.
I think
Hmm.
that defense is absolutely legit, and this is less not believing in Drake May and what he can do. It's just I have to see it to believe it, and you haven't really beaten anybody yet.
There you go.
and it's your second year. If they win that game, then it's like there it is, boom, you did what I was waiting to see.
Yeah.
But that Chargers
Oh,
defense is still
yeah.
legit.
There's just no evidence yet. There's no hate.
Yeah,
There's just no
yeah,
evidence.
exactly.
Grant.
I am going to go Patriots, and I'm going to go 24-17. That's my score there.
17. I am taking the Patriots 27-24. No big anything. I think it's going to be two good teams beating the snot out of each other.
Mhm.
And I'm going to love watching those quarterbacks play. That's going to be
Oh,
great.
this is going to be probably my favorite quarterback matchup of maybe the entire playoffs, to be honest, except for maybe one more game that we'll get to.
So on the guests, we've got, let me go grab this one first. Brittany is taking New England 28-14.
Wow.
I was
I
a
feel
little,
like that's quite a gap there for
yeah,
the
I
score.
was a little surprised at that one. We've got, I'll be entering Brogan's in later. Wes is taking, and if you paid attention to the show, seen our clips before, Wes is our buddy that is a referee and has come on and given that perspective previously. Brittany was on with us earlier this season talking about her Steelers. She has not talked any smack to us, by the way. Zero. She knows what's coming. But wow, Wes is going high scoring here. He is taking the Chargers 35-24. That's a big
Wow.
swing. That's a big swing. Uh, I mean, that's a
Not
full
alone.
on
That's crazy.
shootout, boys. And he is really betting on the veteran over the rookie.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I
then,
don't hate it. I mean, I feel like this might be one of the closer ones to pick. Like out of all of them this week, I feel like that one is the biggest, probably the bigger toss up. At least one of them.
and then
So
John, our guest picker, is taking the Pats 30-27 over the Chargers. Also going for the shootout, but he's taking the rookie. Don't hate the shootout idea. I just know that these are two teams with defensive coaches, and so I'm
that
not
like to run the
expecting
ball.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
They love running the ball, and I can't imagine that they want to see that ball flying. They'd rather see security. That's just what we know about them as coaches. So that'll be interesting. We'll run it backwards as we usually do. We'll do the
What did you
snake.
get? Did you get Brogan? I didn't see.
No, Brogan. Brogan. I'm gonna have to update. So
Perfect.
he's on a plane right now. So he's coming back from visiting some family. So John in our second game, which is the Jaguars Bills, he's taking the Jags 28-17. He is going. He's going with these young teams, man. He's also a young guy, so that does make sense. Let's see, Wes here. We've got. Oh, sorry, there it is. He's going Buffalo again with that 35 number. He's loving some high scoring playoffs. 35-27 is what he's taken. That's pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know, guys. We seeing 35 points. Buffalo can do it, but I mean that would mean the Jags are getting like no turnovers, and that's just not how they've been playing. That'd be really
Hmm.
interesting. And then Brittany is taking Buffalo 34-31. Pretty consistent there between the two of them for sure. So we move it back up. I'm next. I'm going to go. What did I write down here? I'm going to go with what I said. So I'm taking Buffalo. I'm going to take the experience and better quarterback. But I'm going to keep it down at 24-21. Like it to be a close game. I do think Josh Allen has a turnover in this game, but it's not enough, and probably is. He's probably counting for all three of those scores, at least two of them. James
Mhm.
Cook could get one here, but I think he's good.
I I'm gonna go Bills here. I'm gonna go 28-24 on that
Okay,
one.
Jameson,
I'm going Jags 31-23.
Oh,
31 what?
Jags.
31 to
23.
23.
He likes those odd numbers. He does.
I do. They're going to make it an 8-point game, and everyone's going to get fooled into like a 2-point conversion potentially in the air, and then they just don't get it.
Well, if
They
they
want
want
to
to
get the touchdown,
successfully,
they don't get the 2-point.
if they want to successfully get a 2-point conversion, they can just throw it off the helmet and then pick it up in the end zone
There you go.
like a
Yeah, that is
backwards
how that
pass.
works.
Why hasn't anyone else tried that yet?
Yeah, it's just the way to do
Best
it now.
trick play, best trick
Ever?
play in the league. 100% success rate.
Yeah, that's right. That is true.
Mike
Okay,
is taking the Jags. We'll get his score. He's also going to take the Texans on the turnaround here.
Texans Steelers is the game.
Yep. And let's see. We're on Jameson.
I'm also going to take Houston here. I'm going to take this 18-13. Low scoring bludgeon of a game.
Which is exactly what the Texans want. That is exactly their game. That's the game script that they want.
Man, let's see.
All
Sorry,
right.
dude. Can you repeat that score for me? I'm sorry.
I'm going to say Texans 18-13.
18-13. All right, go Grant.
I'm similar. I'm taking the Texans here. I'm going 21-10 Texans. That one.
All right. I actually really like what you guys said. But I had a slightly higher score. I had 24-17. And then I've got Brittany is next.
She's taking
What do
her
you think she
Steelers.
did?
She took her Steelers, right? Yeah, I mean,
You have
But-
to, you know.
But
you
she
have
did
to.
it with
yeah.
wisdom. I will say she's not saying they're going to put up numbers. She's taking Pitt 17-14. I think if they're going to win, that's how they get it done. Their defense
I
has got to
will
get it
say
done.
this: it's not impossible that Pittsburgh does win this game. I just think it's more unlikely than maybe some of these other matchups.
TJ Watt's got to have a day.
Yeah,
And he can.
Honestly, it's really all to do with the Houston offense kind of looking a little shaky. Like outside of those 2 bombs in the Chargers game that Houston had, a couple weeks ago, they haven't
Right.
like they didn't do anything more, but it was enough to win the game. So if you can outpace that as the Steelers keep it close, like have a shot.
Dude, okay. I got to say, I feel like Wes might be trying to help us out here. He's taking the Steelers 32-24.
Bro, the Steelers are not putting up 32 points on the Texans defense. That is
He's usually wrong.
I will quit this podcast if the Steelers win.
The Steelers in the
If the
regular
Steelers put up
season,
34 points against the Texans
32.
defense and beat them, I will quit this show.
the
100%.
Steelers
All right, specifically
averaged
34
23.4
points.
points per game on offense this season, by the way.
Dude,
Just in general.
Can
Not
you
against,
imagine?
Houston.
Dude, could you imagine Grant on Monday night this next week, like sweating bullets when there's 31 on the
getting
board for
close.
Pittsburgh?
Yeah, it's tied. It's tied
Literally.
31-31. Yeah.
Please
No,
score
dude, that's
a
not
touchdown.
happening, bro.
Please score a touchdown. All right. Where's dang it, man. I gotta find this game now, darn it. All right, we got back down to earth here. John is taking the Texans 23-10.
Pretty close to mine.
23-10.
What are you trying to do there, John?
That's
You
a
trying
good
to
score. I like that. It's weird.
That's a good one.
That's a weird one. All right. Our next game here would be, where am I missing, Grant? We're switching over to the NFC, right?
Yep.
All right. So the next one is going to be the Bears and the Packers. John is taking the Bears on a rout 25-10.
Oof.
I mean, Love's playing in this game. I don't know, man. I think they're going to get up more than 10 points. I think that's going to happen. Wes is taking Chicago 34-21. Okay. All right. He's been high points the whole time here, but that one's believable. Then Brittany is going, I think she said Bears, if I remember right. And she did 24-21. A little more conservative. I'm going next. I am going to take the Bears as well, and I'm going to take them 27-20. Grant.
I'm going Bears as well. That Packers were just beat up, and I'm gonna go 30. I'm gonna go 30-20. I think it'll be 30-20.
Jameson.
The win by double digits.
I'm gonna take the Bears and I'm gonna hit the nice calm like 24-17.
Okay. And Mike is taking the Bears as well. Not surprisingly, again, we don't have his scores, but he's going to take on the turnaround. Going to the next one, he's going to take the 49ers. I'm I am actually a little surprised because he tends to be the Eeyore of our fan base, and usually picks against them. Jameson, who are you taking? Niners, Eagles.
Man, I've been thinking about this one basically since the Cardinals Rams game where we closed that one out and kind of locked into the seeding. I truly do think that the Niners can win this game. I'm going to take the Niners. We're going to go 24 to 14.
Oh, okay. Grant.
I think this is the one that most people have their eyes on, like this week. Um, I just think Philly brings in that audience, and people are wondering what they're going to do in the playoffs. I do think they're just because of that defense is really good. That doesn't, but I think that their offense offsets that. So I'm going to take the Niners, but I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be like 17-14. I think it's going to be pretty close until the Niners get like a field goal at the end, like towards the end. I don't think it's to win like a walk off, but I think it's going to be with like 2 minutes left, and then that offense has to try and score, and they don't get it done. No, no, no. I'm
Okay.
gonna go. I'm gonna go. No, no. I'm sticking with it. Yeah, 17,
Okay.
14. I'm sticking with
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
Well, as the representative 49er fan today, all my linebackers are gone. My defensive line is decimated. Um, Genuinely don't know if we're gonna have our number one wide receiver. Don't know if our Hall of Fame left tackle is playing this week. And I'm gonna go against the heart today, guys. I'm taking Philly.
Wow.
Stoppable force
That is
versus
hard for me to say out loud.
movable object. The the Philly offense versus the 49ers defense.
I
Who's
you know
who's worse?
if the Niners get takeaways, they win this game. I just how do you create pressure when literally all five of your linebackers are injured and you're starting dudes off the street? How does that happen? I just don't know. Robert Saleh, if they win this game, I, give him every dollar. Give
I think
him
it's the
everything he ever
brains.
wants.
I think it's the brains in this matchup that really like seal it for me. Like if you're telling me, hey, Shanahan and his crew are gonna roll in against Sirianni and his crew, and like, rosters aside, who do you trust in this moment? It's it's pretty. Yeah. The roster is insane, obviously, in Philly, by comparison right now. But I don't know. Like I think you get that opening drive, you scheme it out, that gets you ahead early, and then you're just kind of like, okay, Eagles offense, do something.
I do think that but the Niners have going for them. I think because I think that they're the underdogs. That makes sense. There is to me, there's a bit of playing with house money because they're injured. Where if the Eagles lose, like because of this fan base and the expectations of what it is, like Philadelphia might be on fire. And
And the Niners,
if
yeah, I
you
was gonna
go
say
in
they want their
there,
comeuppance too.
the Niners want to come up a little bit, but I think that I legit think the Niners go like they recognize that there's a lot of mismatches, but they go, hey, we kind of got punched in the mouth a little bit, in front of a lot, on prime time last week, at least on that offensive side, didn't really score anything. And I think they go, we're going to do everything that we can to win this game, and we're playing with house money. I think playing with house money is a real thing. Like in the NFL, I've seen it more than like we see the upsets the every given Sunday. If the Niners lose, it's yeah, that makes sense. They're injured, they don't have all their horses. The Eagles lose, it's who are we burning? Because that's
Mhm.
unacceptable. So
It, Sirianni, like that's who they're gonna blame for that one.
Oh, well,
Fangio,
sure.
Fangio's a genius.
Hmm.
And that as a 49er fan, who has had him, working magic for our team before, I'm most terrified of that guy this week. Just being really real, I'm super scared of what that defensive front can do, and yeah, they just got playmakers everywhere. So if they screw this up, this is Sirianni's bad because you
Yeah,
should beat this team. You should
they should.
absolutely beat a
They
team
should.
that is possibly down half of its starters from opening day. Like
Yeah.
you should win that game. I really interesting though. I went through our guest pickers. Brittany is taking Philly 24-14. Wes is going to take the Niners 32-28. John is taking the Niners 22-13. I interesting. Interesting picks. Wes believes that there's going to be 30 points scored in every game so far. So that's going to be fun. I hope it happens. That's fun football. Um, but the moving on to the next game, the last one, Jameson's favorite of the week, I'm sure.
Hmm.
His Rams taking on the Panthers in Carolina. John is taking the Rams 17-7. Wes is taking the Rams 28-21. First game with no 30-point score. Of course, that's how that
The
happens.
only team that scored 30 points per game this season and is going against the Panthers is the only team he's not picking to score 30 points.
That is, listen, it's the playoffs. There's no logic here.
Yeah.
It's just wins and losses, bro. It's just wins and losses. Let's see. I did not get Brittany's yet. She is taking the Rams 28-10. The Rams are going to sweep on the pick'em here. There's no way we're going against this grain. So this is going to be the toughest one. I'm going to be doing math for days on this, boys. I am taking the Rams in a genuine revenge match, and you are going to love my score. I am taking 21-3. I genuinely believe that the Rams are going to show up and show out in this game. And I think Bryce Young is going to find out that he is not a playoff quarterback and that
Mhm.
roster is not deep enough to compete with elite teams in the NFC. And I know that people want to hate me when I say that. Oh, they just beat them. Fluke. It's a fluke. It always happens in the NFL. Everybody loses the game they shouldn't. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go Grant here.
I'm going 34 to
Woo!
13.
Oh my. You took my
34-13.
score.
Is that your score?
That's my exact score. Yeah.
No way. Okay, you got to miss it by at least a point. He did get to
Okay.
claim it, so
Um all right, we'll go 31-13. We'll
okay.
go just under that, yeah.
I thought about going 37. I thought about legit 37, and halfway through the fourth quarter, Jimmy G is
Yeah. The
playing.
only reason I didn't go higher and I went a little lower is like if we are up that much, like there might be a like, hey, we're gonna take the foot off the gas and just like hand the ball off and go
Yeah,
home and then wait to see who we play next.
yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I I love playing this game. By the way, I just for the record, if we do have picks that come in with the same score, we will go ahead and have a conversation and manipulate those up three, down three scenarios just to make sure we don't have exacts. And I will contact the individual that we need to make an adjustment with. Let you guys do a little rock paper scissors and figure it out. But so far, we don't have any other than that last one. That was the only one we had to make the
Mhm.
adjustment on. This is a super fun game. I played this for a lot of years. By the way, when we get the scoring will stay the same until we get to the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, if you pick the winner, you will get 5 points. If your team picks the correct score, you will get 10 points for your team. So we throw big points out there the last week. That way, some team could possibly make it up if they're desperately behind and whatnot. We'll see how that goes. Here's the last question I have for you guys before we wrap it today. Who is your Super Bowl champion?
Bro,
Who wins it? Oh, and then Grant goes black. Look at that. That was
Yeah.
beautiful timing.
Yeah.
dude, it's some
Hilarious.
weird thing with my it's some weird thing with my
That
phone.
that is
No,
incredible television right there. The
I,
cliffhanger.
because I really do believe, and I'm going to preface it with this while you guys figure out how you're not going to say your team right out of the gate. I really do believe there's not a genuine favorite. I think every team has a flaw. I believe that Sam Darnold is a bit of a flaw for an otherwise really, really good Seahawk team. Um, I also believe that the Seahawks don't have a ton of blue chip. They clearly have JSN. Like that's
Is it about blue
you know
chip on offense?
yep. And there's just not there's not that. JSN and that's it. They have really good pieces. But Darnold is the key to everything for them. And that's just him not losing the game for them, managing well like he did this last week, putting them in position. I think with the Rams, they're pretty terrifying. What's that defense going to do? If that defense does some things, that offense is ridiculous and real hard to
Mhm.
stop. It only injuries and miscues. Stafford has had a couple of weak moments here recently. A couple pick sixes come to mind. And just being real. But if they're firing, I don't know who's going to stop that. Their special teams have clearly gotten better since they waved goodbye to a certain coach.
Mevis has only mixed 1 field goal and 0 extra points.
Bingo. I mean, that's what you guys got to do is score
The
when the
one was against
opportunity's
Seattle,
there.
by the way. It really pissed me off. But yeah, that was his only miss all season.
Yeah, but if you look on the other side, the Pats again, 1-2 against teams with a winning record. The Broncos, I have to win every game in the fourth quarter, and they have a blue chip defense. Don't have that on offense. They don't have guys that can run with you. They need low scoring games for the most part to get wins, unless your team sucks at defense, which there aren't a lot of bad defenses left here. Like almost nobody gets here with a bad defense. So I just look around at those top seeds and those teams who should be it. I'm not even mentioning the Bears because we don't think they have the defense to pull it off. Philadelphia doesn't have the offense to pull it off. It feels like, unless they were just saving it for now. They have the defense, but not the offense. So, like, you look down all that seeding, who really is the team? And I think that we're just sitting here measuring probably our teams. I don't believe that my team can win the Super Bowl. I think the injuries are too significant. I really don't. I don't think the Niners have a shot. Winning on the road's hard. Went on the road 3 times and then getting to host the Super Bowl, almost impossible. Just being real. So I don't think there's a team here that I just am absolutely in love with. I can find the flaws in all of them, but what do you guys think?
I mean, I'm the team that I'm most scared of is the Rams. Like from that my team's face, I just pray that the Panthers
Quick,
get that out of the way or whatever.
quick flip it.
Um,
Who's the team you're most scared of, Jameson?
Honestly, the Eagles. Not gonna lie to you.
Because
And
you're haunted by a block
that's
kick.
no yeah, that's no disrespect to Seattle because that's like in reality, like if that's the matchup, that's like they're clearly the better team than Philly. But I'm more afraid of like the Philly juju of like we really lost to this Eagles team. Like somehow they're just gonna do it in the same way that they did it
Yeah.
to us at the beginning of the
well,
season.
And you'd be on the road.
Yeah, in Philly,
I'm
like that's the last place I would rather go play in Seattle because I've seen us do that every year
Sure.
and we,
That's
yeah,
fair.
it's
it's the
familiar.
NFC West rock paper in a vacuum. It's Seattle. Like that's the other. Obviously, they're the number one seed. It's the most horrifying defense on our side of the bracket
Yep.
here. But there's just something weird about like the Philly juju, where it's like after everything that's happened, to somehow pull a straw out, and we're going into Philly in the playoffs. Would hate that.
So do you feel then, Grant, that your team is the favorite? I mean, I know they're currently the betting favorite after this week, but we
Yeah,
understand how that momentum works in the NFL. They've also won 7 games in a row, so it's not like that's ill-founded.
yeah, I do. I mean, because if you look at the teams that they mollywopped the Texans, who are a playoff team, they
Love
smacked
that
the
word.
Jaguars, who are a playoff team. They, in this last game, I mean, yeah, the score was 13-3, but I feel like I felt pretty comfortable in this, game this last week against the Niners, just because I knew what this offense was not going to be able to move the ball. Um, like to only allow Shanahan to get 3 points, that's the lowest he's ever scored in his entire tenure as a 49ers head coach. It's 3 points. And it was at the end of the second half, at the end of the first half, didn't score at all in the second half. To me, that's a big deal for me and my team. Like to stop the best offense over the last like 5 weeks to 3 points. I do feel confident in saying that I think my team is the favorite. I think they've earned the right to be the
Uh-oh.
favorite. I think they've earned the right to be the favorite. So, yeah.
Call dad.
You want to hear my favorite?
Who? It's your team?
Yeah, it's the Rams.
Yeah.
Again, I would not love to play Seattle, but the reason why I feel that way about Seattle versus Philly is I did just watch Matthew Stafford go into Seattle and throw for 450 and three tuds without Devontae Adams
Mhm.
after losing Dotson at the beginning of that game. And if not for the series of unfortunate events that happened, which it's you can't just ignore that. It is what
You
happened,
can't
and
bet
now the
on that.
Rams
You
are the
can't bet
fifth
on.
seed. Yeah, but you can't. It was 30-14 with 8 minutes left in the game, and it took a historic comeback and a historic collapse, and also the first time a team's ever lost scoring a touchdown first in overtime in the
Yeah.
history of the sport, given the new overtime rules, to end up losing that game. And I do think the thing that I can kind of sit my hat on here is looking in the entire NFC in our side of the bracket. I think by far and away we have the best quarterback that there is in the postseason.
Mhm.
And obviously he's won a Super Bowl. This team has won a Super Bowl. A lot of those guys were there. We have the coaching staff. We have Puka Nakua, who is like just an unbelievable football player. Just it gives me like goosebumps thinking about like the moments that he can like put together with a guy like Stafford, and then again just bringing back Devonte Adams and reinserting that. It gives me a lot more confidence. It's really just going to be a matchup thing, and it's going to be can we stay healthy and can we avoid the Matt Stafford pick six. And is our secondary going to get absolutely torched? That's where I'm like, okay, like as good as Sam Darnold has been, second half of the season hasn't been lighting up defenses necessarily. And so I start looking at our potential quarterback matchups here for as weak as our secondary is, and it kind of softens that stress just a little bit. But it's still the thing that like if we're going to lose, it's going to be because whoever our second matchup is, somebody's blowing by Emmanuel Forbes, and he's getting big bodied by somebody, and that's the game. And so, but
I
yeah, I think I'm still the most set on the Rams. I know betting odds, it's like Seattle and the Rams are like a few points apart when it comes to being a favorite, and I think that would be like the most obvious favorites in the NFC, if you ask me. But
I
I feel
think
a
there's
little
a
more
good chance
confident in the
though that
Rams.
they're probably going to face each other before the NFC Championship game because they're the 5 seed, and I don't think the Packers. And if the Niners don't win, which there's a good chance that could happen, and then the Packers don't win, there's also a good chance to happen. They're the lowest seed, so the lowest seed plays the one. Um,
Yeah.
Hmm.
so
Well,
there's a good chance that's the divisional matchup. We don't even get to
yeah.
see it in the NFC Championship.
And then, I mean, seriously, in the next, like, what are we at here? 11 days, there is a genuine shot that two of our three teams are playing each other. Like
Yeah,
a really good chance.
yeah,
I think the Packers are the definite loss in the first
and the
round.
Panthers.
Yeah, the Packers and the
Hmm.
Panthers are gonna lose. So like, yeah, if the Niners or the Rams pull this off, one of us is going to Seattle. I
Yep.
really think that's what happens.
And I
Uh,
hate that. I
if
hate that.
if the Packers
I'd
would
rather
like to do
fa- I
everybody a favor, I wouldn't be sad about it. Hear
I
me.
would love I would love to have I would rather play even a bit I would rather avoid a banged up
But
Niners team than to
but in
like
that scenario, just for the record, in that scenario, that means that the Rams are playing the Niners. In that scenario, if it all worked
oh
out like I just said, that
I
means
would love
because that
that.
means the Eagles are out,
I
the Packers are
Yeah, I
out,
mean, I would love to play
Bears are
that
out.
defense right now. Like that's a pretty timely spot. If of all times to get a postseason Niners team, it's when you have nobody on
Yeah.
Yeah.
defense. So,
That'd be a nice matchup for
but
you.
but still, again, still like the winner and loser of that game there, Philly, like
Yeah.
San Fran, those are the two teams that have like the bad voodoo over my team.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, that's a stay away
You
from
get
me.
that. Well,
Yeah.
to be honest with you guys, my actual favorite is a 6 seed. I really like the tested Bills. I think that they went through the struggles at the right time. For the most part here, they have played a lot of one score football. And they're in a crazy tough division in that race this year with the Pats. So they're ending up way lower seeded than they should. And obviously, we do that whole win loss thing. They improve just a little bit there. But I really like where the Bills are at. I love their offense. And if Sean McDermott can finally get it done, I think this is the clearest path. There's no Lamar in the way. There's no Mahomes in the way. Like, this is the clearest path for him. So I'd love to see what
Makes
happens.
sense.
But I'm definitely rooting for them on the AFC side. We'd love to hear from you guys in the comments today. Who do you think is going to take the Super Bowl? I'm not worried about who they're playing, but what team do you think is going to win the Super Bowl as of right now? Regardless, the next month is everything. Remember that Christmas is coming again, but the day after is the moment of mourning, and we are inching closer to February 9th, the
Don't think about
worst
it.
day of the year. So we hope you enjoy every moment. You got 1 month left before it's gone, and then we're just talking about the draft and a bunch of drama. So enjoy the playoffs, everybody. It is here, it is real, and we will see you on the flip side to go through all of it. This is Sportsify.